When is it okay to kill? It's a question I feel like we've become so desensitized towards, and we see murder every day in our news and daily life. Maybe not in person, but we see it on the news, in other countries, in our country. And recently with the murder of Alex Pretti, I just feel disgusted. I mean, that's not to say I didn't feel disgusted before. This has been going on. Renee Good, George Floyd, a lot of people who have been unjustly murdered in the past and will continue to be in the future. I don't want to talk about this for too long because this channel is primarily for documenting the progress of my sci-fi epic, but I want to say something briefly that it's disgusting, and that everyone who is involved in that horrible crime should be punished somehow. I don't know how, but they should be. There should be some accountability involved, because the people who did that are cowards, and they hide behind masks, and they are domestic terrorists in our own streets. But moving on, one of the key points for this story, like I said, was exploring that question: when is it okay to murder? When is it okay to kill? It's something I don't know the answer to. I still don't, and I feel like I never will. It's very difficult to say and to provide some sort of hard line of when it is okay and when it's not okay, and if it's ever okay. I wanted to explore it from someone who's very empathetic, who would never see themselves killing. I wanted to explore it from someone who has killed a lot of people, but start to change and learn that maybe that is not the right thing to do. So today I have a visual aid, Felicur's emotional arc. So it starts up here. He's doing very well. He gets promoted. He's having a good time, hanging out with some friends, and then a big moment happens right there. He's faced with a decision, ends up becoming a criminal, and watches his father figure die. This is going to contain a lot of spoilers, by the way. So after that, he's on the run, has that good moment. Then he ends up crashing and getting captured, and is basically on death row, about to fight in an annual convict death tournament. So he's at a low right here. It's a little bump because he has a second chance, and then he feels like a killer because he is one. In the annual convict death tournament, it's exactly what it sounds like. Last person standing ends up getting a pardon from their crimes. Meanwhile, everyone else who competes is dead because it's last man standing in the tournament. So, kills someone, feels like shit. But then he ends up making a friend in between the matches. And then it goes down, 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 down. I'm not going to say everything that happens, but things don't look very bright for him. And there's one person really to blame for all of this, and that one person is the person he sets out to take the life of. This is by design. I really wanted him to be at this rock bottom moment at the midpoint. I wanted him to feel like nothing mattered, and the only thing that had been getting him to this point, at least from that last portion right about here is where it started, was something that his now dead father figure said, which was, you can't do anything if you're dead. And that was related to a speech that he did that was a bit reckless, and it put his life in danger. And so since then, he's been kind of surviving off of that mantra. So from this midpoint, sets out to basically get what he wants. Originally, he had never foreseen a future where he wanted to take another of his kind's life, another human's life. Because this story has humans and aliens, and he's living in a city where it's primarily, where it's all humans. He's like, oh, I'd kill a Selthian. He's a child soldier. It's what he's trained to do, but he would never kill a human. And now, at this point, he has killed 2, and he is seeking out more blood. Blood from the royals, blood from people who he believes doesn't necessarily deserve to live, people who are gluttonous and hoard resources, and because of their gluttony, it ends up making the lives of everyone else much worse. So he views it as a justified murder, which is something that I really struggle with internally. I don't know what that answer is, and I feel like that's something that it's hard for one person to really give an answer to. I mean, yeah, you can look at the Bible, thou shalt not kill. Yes, and it is a legal law. That is illegal. But then again, there are exceptions. Stand your ground rule. Self-defense. It's one of those things where it gets really tricky when it becomes a judgment thing, where other people are involved in the appropriate punishment. So from that point, he seeks out to kill the one person that he really truly wants to kill, but ends up taking the lives of many other royals instead. And he's actually not able to find the person that he really wants to take out. So then another arc happens, other things are going on, he's getting a little bit better, he's with his friends again, he's reunited. And then that point right there, he's feeling a little bit better than he was down here. He's a little more level-headed. He's still doing poorly because all of those previous events are still happened. He still feels like crap. I mean, he watched some of his friends die. He watched his father figure die. But now he's here. It's more rational thinking. And at that point right there, that X, where he's got that rational mindset, that is when the person he really wants to take out is put right in front of him. And it's a moment where it's really difficult for him to make this choice. It seems like he should want that. He should still want to take out that person. But then again, he knows taking them out will never bring back that person, those people. It will never undo the events that happened. And to be honest, I don't really know what's going to happen from that point. Yes, I've written the climax to the main story, but this is the emotional climax for Felicur specifically. This is also a bit of a moment for the person he wants to take out, Kelvin. But his arc isn't really as important at this point. I've expanded on his character just to give the audience a little bit more empathy for who this person is and what they do besides ruining Felicur's life. So there's a decision there. And I think a big point of writing these stories is planning these decisions. I knew from the beginning I wanted him to be at rock bottom at this midpoint, to push him to his breaking point, to see how he would react. An originally very empathetic and caring person gets pushed to willingly take the lives of many other innocent people. And it all brings me back to the same question: when is it okay to kill somebody? It's a focal point for this story. There's a lot of different characters that have arcs that are similar to this. People who will, at the beginning, take anyone's life with ease. It's typically that character is a different arc. We can talk about that later. But right now, the focus is this character's arc, because I have already finished that character. And because of this moment, this decision at this X, it's stopping me. It's slowing me down a little bit. And I don't really know. I think I know. I want him to actually defend Kelvin, because all the people there in this situation, I'm trying to say stuff without spoiling everything, but a lot of people want Kelvin dead at that point right there. I would like Felicur to stand up and be like, let's not do that. Like, there's a chance for him to change. But I also feel like him doing that doesn't feel earned in a way. And I feel like if I were to take that route, there'd have to be a little bit more development after that X, maybe like a delayed reaction for this character's fate, to give them more time. So yeah, there's 2 more characters' arcs that I'm trying to wrap up: Garmok and Zola. Kelvin's is pretty much he's just a plot point for the other characters at this point. I've explored him a tiny bit, but I'm going to end up, if he survives, I would like to have a lot more exploration for this character in the future books. I would really like him to survive, though, but I don't know how exactly he's going to get out of this situation. Once I conclude this situation, figure out what's going to happen to Kelvin, how is Felicur going to react, what is the decision he's going to make, then I'll be pretty much done. And from there, make a video talking about what's going to be happening next and all that stuff. But I just wanted to come in here and say that, give a little update of where I'm at and where my headspace is and what I'm trying to figure out. I'm 180,000 words into this first draft, and I'm pretty close to being done. A lot of stuff has happened, and really wanted to use this video as an opportunity to explore what has happened with this character and make the decision that makes the most sense for the characters in the story. I don't want to force anything to happen. There are things that I would like to happen, but there were things that I wanted to happen in the past, and they just didn't happen. I tried to kill off this character like 3 times, and he's still alive somehow. Not Kelvin, someone else. Well, thank you for watching. If you are interested in seeing more documentation and progress of me creating this sci-fi, please subscribe. I'll be showing everything I possibly can in the creation of this book, anime series, anime opening, and video game, and audiobook, and all of that stuff. So if that interests you, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and stay safe out there. Yeah, stay safe.